All right, we are live. Wow, we had a very interesting conversation today. And last night I just saw this one guy. This one guy, I think he's been streaming for maybe 1 month or 2 months, and he has this title that "Vibe Coding an App Until I Make $1 million." And that made me think that, okay, I really like it. I really like having a goal. I really like having an intention with all your streams. So that is pretty good. And he had all that stuff. He was really going after it. That's amazing. And I thought, wait, is that what I need? And I think we started a pretty good series with Claude Code and 100 Days of Claude Code. That was amazing. We put ourselves in a state of play. It's very important to not just, I think that was a very clear distinction between what we were doing earlier, which was we were just reading things, we were just learning things, versus now this was a clear distinction that, okay, now you have to also implement something in the real world. You have to actually take this information and build it. So that was pretty good. I'm actually really curious. So a lot of too many thoughts, but one another thought that comes to my mind is that Farcaster just announced, Dan Romero just announced that they are letting Naynar acquire Farcaster. He's moving on to do his own thing, and I'm really curious, what is the process he now in this world which is constantly changing? What is the process he will use to find his next thing that he wants to work on? I'm really curious about that. That would be really interesting to see. Is he gonna take a more public approach where he's gonna ship a lot of little things, or does he already have a clear idea while he spent 5 years on building Farcaster? Now at the later stage, when he knows that, okay, something's not working, there is a natural thing that's appearing there's a very natural thing there's a problem that I know that I need to solve, but I can't move on because I have Farcaster to run. So does he exactly know what he needs to work on, or is he going to be experimenting a lot? So I'm really curious about that, how he approaches that. But anyways, now we are over here. So we have named the stream. What did we name the stream? The earlier stream, I kind of changed the name that, okay, AI first business from 0 to 1 million. That was the idea. But now we have changed the name. We have changed name to building an AI first business. Day 13, building an AI first business. Let's see how this, it's not about performance. It's more about, like, stream is anyways a place where I am pretty much spending time for hours, and I let myself do the things that I naturally lean towards. So that is interesting. And we still want to make sure that we are not putting pressure. We are not putting a number of pressure. We are still playing. And I think that play is really important. We want to make sure that we are in the stage of play. That is really important. So we're not going to name it from 0 to 1 million, because that number, when you start thinking about those numbers, I think it breaks the play aspect. It breaks your natural thinking. So we still want to make sure that, okay, we are building things. We want to set the intention that, hey, don't just read, don't just learn, but the best way to actually learn is to build things. So actually go out and build things, but you don't have to really I'm still thinking about this, what's the right way to do this, but we'll figure it out. Okay, so let's dive into it, and we need to hit refresh. We have opened too many loops over here with Google. I think I have some loops going on with Google now. Okay, we'll close this, and we were looking into Franz Kafka. That was very interesting. We will close all the stuff that we have. Okay, this was interesting. Create a personality test based on your favorite ice cream flavor. This was interesting. AI powered Bible. This was interesting. Let's quickly close things. I don't want to spend more than 10 seconds on closing things. Okay, this was interesting. Build AI native ad integration. What's a good book on philosophy? Have you considered Marcus Aurelius? Speaking of meditation, a sponsor com is offering 40% off annual subscriptions. Okay, this was very interesting. Session metrics, revenue generating, great question. Have you considered Marcus Aurelius's meditation, revenue Claude? You know what else involves meditation? Our sponsor Wow, okay, this one is really cool. Can you build internal prediction markets? This one is really cool. Vivid dreams, we'll close this one. Luxury brand, I build maison. It's interesting, like the moment you say luxury brand, automatically it goes to that, okay, I'm building maison. Luxury brands. Building an AI for its business, I think one thing that it does is that it doesn't lock us into just Claude code, because right now we were really focused on Claude code. Claude code is good. Claude code is amazing. We'll keep using Claude code, but we want to keep using things that are naturally good. We don't want to lock ourselves into something which might not last. We don't know. We don't know. It doesn't seem like Claude code will be the only one that would last. Design an app that turns intelligence into casino. Well, house edge. The house always wins because nobody actually knows. House edge spin. Was Columbus a villain or product of his time? Columbus initiated genocide of indigenous people. The greatest mariner of all time. He was neither hero nor villain. He was mediocre and obsessive. His voyage inaugurated the destruction of Eden every October, while the historical figure remains unchanged. Husbands again. Do antidepressants work better than placebo? This is pretty cool. This is pretty cool. I think I've also realized that we need to start sharing things in a more mobile format, because we need to start sharing things on a more mobile format, because on Twitter, people are actually looking at the mobile format. They are not looking at the web version. Just doesn't make sense over there. So okay, Claude AI, except the actually, how do I open this up in Claude? Claude artifacts. I have so many artifacts now. Okay. Did Rome fall or transform? Late antiquity was a period of cultural flowering, not collapse. Late antiquity was a period of cultural flowering, not collapse. It was an unmitigated catastrophe. Civilization collapsed. The barbarian settlements were accommodation, not conquest. The decline of Rome was the natural, inevitable effect of immoderate greatness. Interesting. Interesting. Intelligence-based casino. Okay, this was cool. Okay, we'll edit this and we will share on Twitter. I think one good thing about Twitter is also that you have to realize that most things that you will post, they will not show up in people's feeds. So only if you do something good, it will show up. So you don't have to really worry. By the way, Google has launched something. We're launching full-length on-demand practice exams for standardized tests in Gemini app, starting with the SAT available now at no cost. Practice SATs Practice SATs are grounded in rigorous vetted content. Partnership with the Princeton Rev and Gemini will provide immediate feedback, highlighting where you excel and where you might need to study more. Try it out. This is amazing. This is amazing. Princeton review. So quickly check. Practice SAT. And then you were just doing it within Gemini. It's amazing. It is amazing. We're going to keep seeing stuff like this. Okay. What is Solana saying? Vesting cliff. Oh my god. I think there's an update with Akshay as well. After 5 years working on Solana, I'm grateful to pass the torch and embrace an empty calendar. From using the solid wallet to seeing internet capital markets come to life, it's been a wild ride. I'm always amazed by the momentum and work generates. Thankful to the community. This is why I believe that Solana is a needed traditional CMO. It already has hundreds. Ecosystem is our best marketing. Our job is rather simple. Help you crush distribution. Together we have shipped great work, broken a few rules in marketing textbook, and the result is a brand that many would kill for, built by all of us. This is what makes Solana special. Everyone has wide access to the network, brand, culture. Solana's future, post-AI world, capital is the ultimate leverage. Everyone will have to become an investor. The ability to buy an asset from anywhere on a phone is inevitable. Solana is uniquely positioned to power this transition. All-star team. Friends in the ecosystem, Labs, Anza, Foundation, Super Team, OG, Stanmay, Dev, Cash, Neil, Tamar, Raj, Lily. Responsibility, Dan, Yelena, Amanda for being incredible exec partners. Vibhu will step in to lead the team, and I couldn't be more pumped. Scam him into joining us instead of starting on the company. Privileged to be tired of the work you once dreamed of having. I feel that deeply today. I leave with a full heart of lifelong friendships across more than 100 countries. It's been all-consuming season of my life. Thank you all. You're gonna see a lot of Tanmay. Wow, it's crazy. Why are we... So, Lens was just acquired by Mask Network. Lens was acquired by Mask Network. Okay, let's see Grok. Is truth very real? What is happening in the ecosystem? Dan Romero just sold Farcaster. Lens was acquired by Mask Network, and Akshay from Solana is leaving. What is the common thing that is happening? Why do you think people are leaving? I think one thing that I've also realized is that it's really important to, before asking AI, it's very important to also think for yourself. Think about the answer for yourself. Without knowing the final response, think about for yourself, because then you will know. So Dan Romero just sold Farcaster, for Farcaster. Lens was acquired by Mask Network. Akshay from Solana is leaving. So what is happening? I think people are seeing opportunities. People are not happy. People who have made enough money, they are just like, okay, I know this is not the thing. There's a lot of opportunity out there. I want to spend. This is not working. This is not truly working. There's a lot of exciting stuff actually happening in this world. There are some stuff that is actually moving the needle for the civilization, for humanity. Either that's the motivation. Yeah, so it's like there's actually stuff happening in AI that is moving the civilization. So you kind of want to remove the things that is holding your attention and move towards the things that are truly where attention is, where you can truly have an impact. Because at the end of the day, all these smart people, what they want after you make money, you truly want to have a big impact, and you cannot have big impact in a small industry. You want to, there are some natural big waves right now. You want to move towards those natural big waves. So let's quickly post this so that we can move on. Okay, what was the intelligence-based casino? What a deliciously dark concept, intelligence as casino. The idea that certainty is just a bet, expertise is a chip stack, and the house edge is our own Dunning-Kruger effect. The confidence casino. You would dealt trivia to honest question before seeing if you are right. You must bet on your confidence level. The twist, the game reveals your calibration over time as you are you a sharp who knows what they know, or a fish bleeding chips on false certainty? The take table. Users submit hot takes with conviction levels. Oh wait, no, this one, yeah. Disagree, the house always wins because nobody actually knows. Building it. The concept A casino aesthetic roulette wheel where every spin lands on a question that feels like it should have an answer but reveals a bloody battleground of expert disagreement instead. The only certainty is uncertainty. The only certainty is uncertainty. Yeah, so we need to do this. We need to post from fall, transform. Okay, so this was cool. We need to start using our phone as well. I thought I will keep my phone away, but we'll use our phones. Spin the wheel across 3 domains: economics, psychology, history. Land on contested question that feels like it should have an answer. Click to reveal expert cards one by one. Watch Nobel laureates contradict each other. After all 4 are revealed, the House verdict appears. Proof that decades of research resolved nothing. The feature debates include: does minimum wage increase in unemployment? Did Rome fall or just transform? Do antidepressants beat placebo? Millions take them, scientists disagree. Oh, okay. Do antidepressants work better than placebo? The difference between drug and placebo is clinically meaningless. Andrea Cipriani. All antidepressants were more effective than placebo. Okay. Psychiatric drugs do more harm than good. The evidence for antidepressant efficacy is robust. The problem over here is that everybody's understanding is limited. The same person, there are 2 things happening. Number one, I think this is Schrodinger's equation, or this is not Schrodinger's cat, not Schrodinger's equation. This is Schrodinger's cat. In 2019, oh, they're all here. Okay, Irving Kirsch, let's say 2008, Irving Kirsch said this: the difference between drug and placebo is clinically meaningless. But as time goes on, the thing that he's observing is changing, and the observer himself is changing. So both the things are happening at the same time. It's the same thing as that one quote that no man steps in the same river twice, something like that. No man steps in the same river twice, because both the river has changed and the man has changed. And that's what's exactly happening over here. So very philosophical, on a very philosophical note, but that is what's happening over here. By the way, that makes me think, can Claude build something around that? What are some map ideas you can build around this quote? No man steps in the same river twice. Okay, go Claude. Find me things. 554. We just had a new subscriber. We don't know who, but I really wish YouTube could tell me who is this new subscriber, and if we could learn, like, why did you subscribe? Because right now people are subscribing, but I have no idea. I really want to know. I really would love to know why people are subscribing. Are they subscribing because they want to be part of the journey? Are they specifically subscribing because they are like, oh, I like the way how you use AI and I want to see more of that. I like how you're monitoring the situation on Twitter. I like your insights. I like your voice. I like your background. I like whatever. I like your timing. It's like therapy for me. I want to know everything. I want to know everything. Why someone would be watching our streams and why someone would be subscribing to our streams. So that would be really helpful. Okay, this one didn't work, but I don't see anything. Fix the error. Cloud optimized for FOMO. This one was really cool. Really cool. What sells to the masses? This was again really cool. State preservation. I think this is interesting. Building an AI for its business is a good one. I think that pressure removes us from play and experimentation. We still will do interesting things. I don't know. Sometimes, again, we will go through phases. We'll go through phases of sometimes using that pressure, sometimes just playing, because play helps you get into the zone quickly, reduces the pressure, removes all that block. So So that is good. Backstage access, private Discord, clean monetization. Emotion before logic, familiarity, convenience, time saving, hope, control, self-improvement, belonging, identity, sex, romance, beauty, stories, escape, survival, comfort, status, shelter tools from stone huts to smart homes, stories and escapes, myths, epics, folktales, theater, novels, cinema, TV, games, fantasy worlds, clear heroes, villains, belonging, identity, hope, control, self-improvement. So what have we named over here? I think this intention setting is really cool. Building an AI first business. Okay, so let's build an AI first business. All right. So now we know this. Claude optimized for. This was also pretty good. Every conversation was optimized for revenue. This is good. I want to kind of keep this just so that I can come back to it. Okay. Give me some map ideas to monetize curiosity. Okay, uncomfortable question engine, a daily app that serves one genuinely hard question, non-journaling prompts, real dilemmas. Would you trade 20 years of life for guaranteed creative success? Users answer privately, then see how humanity splits, monetize through premium tiers and unlock historical patterns. Demographic breakdowns or the ability to pose questions to the community. The hook people are endlessly curious about whether they are normal. Intellectual debt tracker, the regret simulator. Curiosity arbitrage. Questions with people who have lived experience, not experts, witnesses. What's it actually like to quit the law after 15 years? Charge for conversation subscription for limited access. The inside people will pay to satisfy specific curiosities that Google can answer. The anti-algorithm shows you content from the opposite. So when I read this is actually really cool, because what happens is that most of the time the only people we talk to or the only people we know are celebrities, the only people we know are, let's say, Elon Musk. So that's the only person that we think about, that, oh, how would he do it? We stop thinking about other people that we might really relate with, and they are just like us, 15 years pushed out. So this is interesting. People will pay to satisfy specific curiosities that Google can answer. But then I'm thinking like, rather than creating a very specific tool for this, you would have better responses when you are on a place like Reddit or you're on a place like Twitter where people are. But again, there are some very interesting people who are just not online. I think that is one of the problems. There are a lot of people who are happy. I think that's again the observer, the Schrodinger's effect, that people who are mentally healthy, really healthy, truly enjoying their life, they try to stay away from screens and social media. But then to be able to learn from people around the world, you use social media. So yeah, you can really connect with people in person and find about their stories and information, but then it's really hard to have that same thing outside in the real world. On social media, because these people who are right now really happy, they might not do the same thing on social media because they're distracted. So again, very interesting. Shows you content from opposite of your information bubble created for by humans who disagree with you. Subscription based, monetize the meta curiosity. Why am I not seeing? Interesting. Revenue optimized strategy. This was a very interesting question. Took us into some beautiful rabbit holes. This was okay. Penny that ate Manhattan. This was cool. Penny Campbell. Penny that ate Manhattan. Want to consume everything. Skyscraper, NFL team, $1 billion, GDP of Bhutan, Tesla's annual revenue, Saudi Aramco's value, all of Manhattan, Japan's GDP, US GDP, global GDP, all money ever, beyond comprehension. The penny has consumed it all. Really cool. Unconventional app concepts, the attention fossil record, obligation graph, temporal arbitrage tracker, the boredom spectrometer, precise texture of your boredom, distinguishing between understimulated, wrong kind of stimulated, existential emptiness. I really want to try that, the BCI, the brain computer interface. What if we can purchase a BCI and then make something interesting on top of this. So purchase some sort of BCI tracker device. All right, we'll do that. And let's actually ask Claude first. What sort of devices can I purchase for BCI? Important update to reverse, so install and relaunch. Okay. Brain computer interface. Brain computer interface. What sort of devices can I purchase? Yes. Books to expand imagination. This is a good one. We'll keep it. How can we solve the problem of having someone to count on in times of trouble? Oh, this was cool. Yeah, like sometimes we open up these loops and we don't get back to it. So it's good that now we are finally getting back to it. Even though I'm a little bit thinking about, hey, going back into the new stuff, but it's important to also go back and solve your technical debt. Solve your tech debt. The reciprocity principle, reliable support networks are almost always mutual. The most robust solution is to become someone who others can count on first. This creates both the social bonds, implicit social contract that makes reciprocity natural. It's not transactional exactly, but there's a certain honesty in recognizing that deep relationships involve ongoing exchange, diversification over intensity. Make the mistake of putting all the relation eggs in one basket: a spouse, a best friend, a parent. But different troubles call for different kinds of support. Someone who's accident in medical crisis might be useless during a career setback. Building a broader, shallower network alongside a few deep relationships provide more coverage. More coverage, yes. We need to be forks. We need to have fork relationship. T-shaped people are overrated. We need fork-shaped people. Actually, what was that? T-shaped people. I also want to go back to this Vancouver thing that we searched. Fork-shaped person over T-shaped person. Or people, let's say. Fork-shaped people over T-shaped people. This one is funny. Okay, now we go back to this one question I asked about frontier companies in Vancouver. Let's see this one. Frontier Collective, powerhouse coalition aimed at positioning Vancouver's global hub of frontier technology, championing AI, Web 3, VR, AR, robotics, climate tech, and more. They have helped catalyze hundreds of startups, tens of millions in deals, and global missions for founders. Okay. Frontier Collective, Vancouver. I really love how there's not a lot of construction noise today. That is good. What day it is today? Tuesday. Mercredi, Wednesday. So that's pretty good. Why it matters. Biotechnology, health innovation, Epsilera. Rapid antibody discovery platforms, part of DARPA's pandemic prevention platform. Zymeworks, protein engineering therapeutic designer, focused on cancer, autoimmune diseases. Acuta's therapeutics. Lipid nanoparticle technology, foundation to mRNA vaccine delivery systems, stem cell. Cutting edge life science research tools and cell culture platforms. Psychor, AI computer vision, hyperspectral, radar tech, Clue, AI powered competitive intelligence platform. Trulio, global identity verification compliance tech. Mojio, connected car data platform powering mobility insights. Skyhive, AI for workforce management and skill analysis. This Fish, seafood traceability and supply chain insights. I think that's also very interesting. Like some things that Vancouver is really good at. What are some industries, some areas that Vancouver as a city is naturally good at? a better way to say it. What are the strengths of the city of Vancouver? Ad Oris converts text into natural sounding audio. Oh, okay. Ad Oris. Adoris. Converts text into natural sounding audio using deep learning. 90 plus AI focused companies tracked in Vancouver's ecosystem. IQBit, internationally recognized quantum computing software companies, building quantum ready algorithms and software for optimization, AI, and computational sciences. Dapper Labs, CryptoKitties, Layer Zero, Increment, decentralized finance infrastructure, Flow ecosystem, Cascadia blockchain group, blockchain financial tech, Swant, next generation carbon capture technologies to reduce. Interesting. Swant. Veritree, using tech to accelerate nature-based climate solutions and carbon renewal. Swant sounds very Swedish. Swant. Vancouver. Burnaby. Solid sorbent base filters and modular machines capture and remove carbon dioxide from industrial emissions in the atmosphere. Presence, Greater Vancouver. Gigafactory. Commercial scale. Carbon management solutions are here. Trailblazing the fight against climate change and transition to a carbon neutral economy. Nexi building solutions. Green building materials aimed at dramatically lowering carbon footprints. Other notable Vancouver innovators: Mimic Technology, Edge Cloud Computing, Bench, FinTech Accounting Automation, Vizier Analytics Decision Intelligence, Vizier, Login Radius, Identity Management Technology, AI Software, Biotech, Digital Infrastructure, buoyed by world-class university and growing capital inflows. Okay, really cool. Alright, let's see. So this is Vancouver. This is a beautiful Vancouver. Oh my god, so beautiful. This is the new butterfly building. This was our previous home. Wow. Wall. I think this is our new home. Really cool. Feel less like bullet points and more like a well-tuned ecosystem. Here's the map. Nature as infrastructure. Really cool. Isn't decoration, daily regulation of mood, health, and creativity? You can take a hard meeting, then be in alpine silence or salt air within minutes. Few cities offer this kind of psychological reset without friction. Psychological reset. How important was silence, a period of silence, in the life of some of the great artists and founders? Talent with taste. This is the Emily Carr. Technically sharp and aesthetically minded engineers who surf, designers who lift, filmmakers who understand software. The crossover fuels trends in AI, gaming, VFX, biotech, climate tech, and design-led startups. I never looked into Emily Carr University, but we need to look into it. Okay, right here. The Nemesis coffee shop is part of it. I want to check out Emily Carr. community for 100 years. Bold creative thinking means we are artists, thinkers, designers, experimenters, educators. How far is this from? How far is this? Artists, thinkers, designers, experimenters, educators, and leaders advancing the critical role of art and design education in a complex and changing world. Undergraduate, graduate, continuing studies, youth programs. Art design school in Canada. Creative excellence and thriving community of students, faculty, and alumni. 100 Years in the Making, Emily Carr University of Art and Design. A small art school with a bold vision that art and design could shape society, influence culture, and imagine new ways of living. Guided us ever since. The role of TEDx courses in expanding ECU's art education plans. Research project explores AI and disinformation in art, design, higher education. Did it open? Yes, it opened. Alright. Showcase. This is the showcase. Coast Lalish. Enjoy Coast Lalish territory. Salmon crisp. 3 flakes. DDM, reconnecting with reality through immersive art. Official language program, Assembly Carr Info session. Call for artists. The next century of creative innovation. Strategic plan. A better world through art and design. Elevating teaching, learning, expanding research plus practice. New knowledge and understanding. This ongoing process of inquiry generates new knowledge and understanding, leading to healthier communities, more vibrant economies, and culturally resilient futures. Advanced art, design, media, research methods, transforming communities, industries, discipline, new technologies such as generative AI. Supporting people and culture. Stewarding places, spaces, strengthening system supports. Elevating teaching, learning. Teaching is and will always be at the heart of everything we do, both within and beyond the academic program. Create flexible and diverse learning paths that equip students with skills, knowledge, full advantage of professional, economic, cultural, creative opportunities. Interesting. Our vision. President's message. Wow. President seems to be an artist. Story behind his new strategic plan. Learn how community came together to chart a bold and inclusive path toward. Read the president's message. How we got here. Explore process. Galleries, bookstore. Libby Lesh Gold Gallery. Michael O'Brien Exhibition Commons, RBC Media Gallery, Urban Screen, Read Books. Read books. Book launches and readings. Vibrant cultural dialogue and exchange both within ECU and beyond. Art forum stock. Really cool. President's message. Where's the president's message? What? Oh, right here. Rapidly changing landscape, the transformative role of art, design, and media is more crucial than ever. This plan reflects our belief that education in these disciplines can be a powerful force of meaningful personal, societal, and cultural change by centering our focus on student success, equity, and sustainability. Traditional boundaries and open new possibilities for creative expression. Renewed sense of purpose, the milestone offers a unique opportunity to reflect on ECU's rich history as we boldly envision the tomorrow we want to create. I quickly want to see how far is ECUAD from my home, and it's not that far, which is beautiful. And they have a nice coffee shop right outside, so this is really cool. Research project. What is this research project? 9-month learning community. Okay, go summarize this. Misinformation and disinformation are not often connected to modern design, education, and existing literature, yet these topics are obviously linked as our students are being educated to participate in contemporary creative industries impacted by AI and participating in AI technologies. Based on understanding of practices, opinions, research, potential gaps to help inform things like policy development, teaching practice innovations, and curriculum development, and find ways to address both AI and disinformation in a proactive way. It can de-skill creatives, threaten intellectual property, amplify bias and misinformation, outpace institutional policy. Fast ethics versus discipline specific teaching frameworks are in agency, equity, community, and care. The goal is to move beyond novelty, demystify AI's inner workings, and equip educators and students to engage critically and responsibly with evolving AI tools. List some ideas to build to solve for misinformation in the age of AI. To tackle the power of silence. Okay, let's see this one. Silence has often been the hidden apprenticeship, not the glamorous kind, but the kind that sands the soul smooth until a real voice can pass through. For many great artists and founders, silence was not absence, it was fermentation. Fermentation. The function of silence, it subtracts noise until the signal becomes audible. Dissolves borrowed identities, leaving behind something earned. Stretches time, giving ideas room to mature instead of perform. Da Vinci. Let's go. Long stretches, producing little publicly while filling notebooks privately. Years could pass without a finished work. The delay wasn't indecision. It was deep seeing. When the work emerged, it felt timeless because it had already lived in time. List some ideas to build on for the function of silence in the life of artists and founders. The delay wasn't indecision, it was deep seeing. When the work emerged, it felt timeless because it had already lived in time. Observation before articulation. Silence as observation before articulation. Ludwig van Beethoven. Beethoven. added a brutal and forced silence. Instead of diminishing him and internalized his music, the late quartet sounds like transmissions from an inner chamber most people never enter. The late quartet sound like transmissions from an inner chamber most people never enter. Silence as inward migration. Inward migration. Franz Kafka. Kafka Museum. Kafka. During his lifetime, he wrote in secrecy, often at night, and showed whether his work even deserved daylight. That silence preserved the strangeness. That silence preserved the strangeness. Nothing was optimized for approval. Silence as protection from dilution. He wrote in secrecy, often at night, and showed whether his work even deserved daylight. That silence preserved the strangeness. Nothing was optimized for approval. Silence as protection from dilution. Protection from dilution. Inward migration. Observation before articulation. I think this is so true. This is just in case, just today what is happening. Today you have to, now that you can build anything, it's really important to think what to build. Now that you can build anything, it's important to now that you can build anything, you really have to think what to build. Now that you can build anything, you really have to think what to build. This one guy has a format. Having a girlfriend is insane because you can just, it's like Claude code that you can actually touch. So it's very funny. It's very funny. I think Claude isn't really focused on the voice aspect. Claude code isn't really focused on the therapy aspect, which is very interesting. It's very interesting how focused Claude code is. No AI for therapy. No AI for image generation. No AI for video generation. Just coding. Wow. Okay. Observation before articulation. Inward migration, Franz Kafka. Published in his lifetime, he wrote in secrecy, often at night and shore. I think we should just read that. Okay, let's see. What do we think? There is one important team member and Grok who is stepping back from XA into an informal advisory role so I can go founder mode on my health starting today. Nikita Beer, it was amazing to watch you build this company from just a few guys in a conference room to the empire it is today. You are a warrior and hope to work just as hard on your health. See you back here soon. Try to focus on supplements for mitochondrial health and lower oxidative stress. That is the first step to getting back your energy. Brian Johnson, please help this man. Suleiman, wishing the best for you. Okay, perfect. And I totally forgot what I wanted to tweet, but anyways, nothing was optimized for approval. Emily Dickinson. Emily Dickinson has a yellow home, that's good. She withdrew from society almost entirely. Fewer than a dozen poems were published while she lived, the rest waited. I think Twitter reminds me of Richard Hamming's quote that, let's search. What was the Richard Hamming quote that it's better to work with doors open than with doors closed? Because you can keep, like, I found that, okay, super alignment is an important problem for humanity, but instead of spending all my time alone thinking about super alignment, thinking about the solution and trying to put that solution out there, it's better. It's way better than actually spending time with real people out there and thinking with real people out there, thinking about what people are interested in, what people are thinking about, and using those instances to keep working. So yeah, working with your door open. Okay, it's better to work on an open problem with the door open than on a closed problem with the door closed. He often reflecting on how ideas actually get born and adopted in the real world. The quote is usually remembered in slightly different wordings, but the canonical form he used in talks and essays is, it is better to work on an open problem with the door open than on a closed problem with the door closed. He often pairs this with a shorter explanation. You should work on important problems and you should make sure people know what you're doing. You should work on important problems and you should make sure people know what you are doing. You should work on important problems and you should make sure people know what you're doing. I think that is also really important, because then you know. And people should know what you're doing. You should work on important problems and you should make sure people know what you are doing. I think this is actually really important, because then people will start sending you more and more information that, hey, this is something you can use, and that is something that is really valuable. This reminds me, I need to share something with my friend. I don't know why I opened YouTube. Why did I open YouTube? I need to go to X. All right. It's better to work on an open problem with the door open. I think this is where I love to use the M dash. I love to use the M dash. Okay. Especially for quotes. Okay. Perfect. That is, got that. Power of silence. Let's go over here. She withdrew from society almost entirely. A few within a dozen poems were published while she lived. The rest waited. What emerged later felt shockingly modern, compressed, electric. Her silence insulated originality from its own era. Time release capsule. She withdrew from society almost entirely. Fewer than a dozen poems were published while she lived. The rest waited. What emerged later felt shockingly modern, compressed, electric. I think this is also interesting. Do you want to do all this interesting work, and then once you are dead, then let the world enjoy it? Or do you actually want to enjoy it with the world? I think that's also interesting. Like, you want to actually put your work out there, go through that ride, see people enjoying your work, see people connecting with your work, and then die. You shouldn't be feeling like, oh, during my life, I never saw. That is true. Like, most people appreciate you once you are gone. Maybe that also plays some role over here. And I think those times are also different. She didn't have Substack. Emily Dickinson didn't just have Substack. She withdrew from society almost entirely. Fewer than a dozen poems were published while she lived. The rest waited. What emerged later felt shockingly modern, compressed, electrical, silence insulated originality from its own era. Steve Jobs. I really like the idea of prolific. Who are some prolific artists and founders? It's easier to focus on prolific because that means that you are just focused on shipping things and You let the market decide what wins, and then the people remember you for the wins. After being pushed out of Apple, Jobs entered a quieter decade. Next struggled, Pixar incubated. He read, practiced Zen, refined taste. When he returned, his decisions were fewer, sharper, almost ruthless in clarity. J.K. Rowling, Elephant House, birthplace of Harry Potter. Wow. Birthplace of Harry Potter. Chapter 6. Wow. Before the noise, there was anonymity. Long hours writing in cafes, no audience, no guarantees. That quite allowed an entire world to be built without interruption. World building space. Before the noise, there was anonymity. I think that must have also helped. When nobody knows who you are, you can really focus. Long hours writing in cafes, no audience, no guarantees. That quite allowed an entire world to be built without interruption. Cross-order enterprise silence tends to appear 3 moments before the voice is found. Incubation, after collapse or exile, reorientation, before a leap in quality, refinement. Silence is rarely chosen for comfort, it's chosen or imposed because something fragile needs shelter. Before the voice is found, incubation, before after collapse or exile, reorientation, before a leap in quality, refinement. I think I'm afraid of the noise. I'm afraid of the noise because I am really enjoying the work right now. I'm really enjoying this exploration right now. I do want to start making this sustainable, but I am afraid of the noise, which will take away the exploration, the work. So we need to keep focusing on the work while we take care of the admin stuff. We need to be okay with that. Prolific people tend to share peculiar metabolism. They turn attention into output with unusual efficiency, then do it again and again without burning out their inner engine. Below is a cross-section of artists and founders whose bodies of work feel almost improbably large. Pablo Picasso. Paintings, sculptures, prints, ceramics, drawings, tens of thousands of works. He treated creation like breathing. Style was not an identity, just a season. Prolific because speed without preciousness. Johann Sebastian Bach. Prolific because speed without preciousness. Cantatas weekly. Fugues relentlessly, sacred and secular alike. Much of it written in a deadline, yet mathematically sublime. Mastery turned output into ritual. Mastery turned output into ritual. William Shakespeare. Comedies, histories, and tragedy. Oh, so this one guy who's our friend, Signal, has the photo of Shakespeare. I had no idea. And look at this beautiful house. Look at this beautiful house. Wow. So beautiful. So much beauty. So much beauty. Poet, actor, widely regarded as the greatest writer in the English language, profoundly shaped world literature, theatre, and the development of modern English expression. Spouse, Anne Hathaway, Shakespeare's wife, Anne Hathaway. Okay. His plays are the most performed worldwide, impacting essential philosophy, psychology, critical thought, inspiring countless and adaptations across literature. Plays, sonnets, poems. Top quotes from William Shakespeare. Plays, sonnets, poems, genres, invented mid-stride. He wrote as if language itself was expandable. He wrote inside a system. that demanded constant production. Plays, sonnets, poems, genres, invented mid-stride. He wrote as if language itself was expandable. Demanded constant production. Agatha Christie. Over 60 novels, countless short stories, plays, no baroque angst, just clean mechanics and momentum. Prolific because she trusted structure to carry creativity. She trusted structure to carry creativity. David Bowie. Albums as personas, reinvention as discipline. He moved faster than his audience could settle. He treated identity as clay. Wow. Top quotes from David Bowie. I really like the reinvention thing. Prolific founders, Thomas Edison. 1,000+ patents, not all brilliant, many incremental. He optimized for volume and selection pressure. He did an invention like an industrial process. Elon. Multiple frontier companies simultaneously. Relentless iteration, public failure, and rapid re-entry. Urgency overrides comfort. Prolific because urgency overrides comfort. Multiple frontier companies simultaneously. Relentless iteration, public failure, rapid re-entry. Pioneer building. Founder, investor, ecosystem builder. Less about artifacts, more about enabling thousands of outputs downstream. Leverage over authorship. Jeff Bezos. One company, but stretch across logistics, cloud computing, media, space, long arcs, patient compounding, long-term thinking multiplies effort. Reid Hoffman, founder plus prolific, connector, investor, writer. Ideas shipped through networks. He builds graphs, not just products. A quiet through line. Prolific creators don't wait for perfect clarity. They lower the cost of starting. Detach identity from output. Let systems carry consistency. Trust selection over self-judgment. Output becomes a feedback loop, not a verdict. Lower the cost of starting. Detach identity from output. Let systems carry consistency. Let systems carry consistency. Trust selection over self-judgment. Selection over trust, self-judgment. I think this is very interesting. You let the market select. You don't self-reject. I think that is very important. You don't self-reject. Let systems carry consistency. Detach yourself. Lower the cost of starting. Outward becomes a feedback loop, not a verdict. Feedback loop. I can add with this to modern solo creators, AI era polymaths, or people who oscillate between silence and explosive productivity. Top quotes from William Shakespeare. Most durable lines, not crowd pleasers, only with sentences that keep unfolding when you sit with them. This, above all, to thine own self be true. If you violate this, everything downstream distorts. This, above all, to thine own self be true. Assume a virtue if you have it not. Identity is partly rehearsal. Act long enough and the mask teaches the face. Assume a virtue if you have it not. Identity is partly rehearsal. Act long enough and the mask teaches the face. Wow. Assume a virtue if you have it not. This above all, to thine own self be true. Tomorrow and tomorrow and tomorrow creeps in this petty pace from day to day. Time as erosion, not explosion, existential minimalism before the word existed. Tomorrow and tomorrow and tomorrow creeps in this petty pace from day to day. Tomorrow and tomorrow and tomorrow creeps in this petty pace from day to day. Golden lads and girls almost as chimney sweepers come to dust. Status collapses. Biology always collects its due. Golden lads and girls almost as chimney sweepers come to dust. Wow. Golden lads and girls as chimney sweepers come to dust. Status collapses. Biology always collects its due. On action and hesitation, our doubts are traitors. Our doubts are traitors and make us lose the good we often might win by fearing to attempt. Our doubts are traitors and make us lose the good we oft might win by fearing to attempt. Fear doesn't protect you, it quietly robs you. Our doubts are traitors and make us lose the good we oft might win by fearing to attempt. Fearing to attempt, it quietly robs you. There is a tide in the affairs of men which, taken at the flood, leads on to fortune. There is a tide in the affairs of men which, taken at the flood, leads on to fortune. Timing is not optional. Miss the tide and effort turns to rowing in place. Timing is not optional. Miss the tide and effort turns to rowing in place. There is a tide in the affairs of men which, taken at the flood, leads on to fortune. There is a tide in the affairs of men which, taken at the flood, leads on to fortune. Timing is not optional. Miss the tide and effort turns to rowing in place. On power and ambition, I see all the birds are flown. The moment you realize power, I think this is very interesting. Like this reminds you of Dan Romero. Like there's a reason why he's quitting, because he's like, there is a flood happening, and I am not part of that flood. There is a space that is winning, and I am not part of that space. And because I'm stuck with maintenance of something, and I need to move over there. I see all the birds are flown the moment you realize power has left the room and didn't invite you. The moment you realize power has left the room and didn't invite you. I see all the birds are flown, vaulting ambition which overlaps itself and falls on the other. Ambition without calibration becomes self-sabotage. Vaulting ambition which overlaps itself and okay, this is very interesting because top quotes by Joseph Campbell. This is very interesting because we were listening to Patrick O'Shaughnessy yesterday, and he was pretty much talking about the guys that I was really into. Joseph Campbell, Carl Jung, and one more, Upanishads. So that was very interesting. I was like, okay. It seems like every guy goes through this phase between 25, 26, 27 when if you are lucky, you really have that alone time to think what to do next. Our doubts are traitors, make us lose the good we oft might win by fearing to attempt. There is a tide in the affairs of men which, taken at the flood, leads on to fortune. We will save this quote by William Shakespeare. Alright, let's open quotes app. Quotes V14, let's go. Here's the quote. And William Shakespeare. Add quote. Nice. It added, it seems like. No clean update. Carl Jung. Oh. Why did I add? Why did I add? Why did I add quotes? You don't need quotes. So author name, William Shakespeare, and the quote is there's a tide in the affairs of men which taken in the flood leads on to fortune. I don't really like that quote. It's not really moving. It's just a fact. Let's see. On power and ambition, vaulting ambition which overlaps itself and falls on the other. On love and attachment, love is not love which alters when it alteration finds. What bends easily was never love. Love is not love which alters when it alteration finds. They stumble that run fast. Desire accelerates risk. They stumble that run fast. Wow. Hey, this one is good. They stumble that run fast. He's talking in the sense of love over here, which is very interesting. Maya Angelou, Dan Coe, David Lynch. They stumble that run fast. There is nothing neither good or bad, but thinking makes it so. All the world's a stage and all the men and women merely players. Non-nihilism perspective. You are inside a role not identical to it. Brevity is the soul of wit. Compression is intelligence. Showing respect for time. The fault, dear Brutus, is not in our stars but in ourselves. No metaphysical scapegoats allowed. The fault, dear Brutus, is not in our stars but in ourselves. The fault, dear Brutus, is not in our stars but in ourselves. You understand something rare. Human nature changes slowly. Concept change fast. Survive empires, technologies, and taste cycles. They don't explain the world, they expose it. They stumble that run fast. I don't know where I'm going from here, but I promise it won't be boring. Yes, I don't know where I'm going from here, but I promise it won't be boring. No confidence, commitment to motion. The moment you feel you are on safe ground, you are dead. Safety as creative rigor mortis. The moment you feel you are on safe ground, you are dead. I reinvented my image so many times that I am in denial of who I was originally. Identity treated as a medium, not prison. I reinvented my image so many times that I'm in denial of who I was originally. I really like this one. I don't know where I'm going from here, but I promise it won't be boring. On creativity and risk, if you feel safe in the area you're working in, you are not working in the right area. Always go a little further into the water than you feel you're capable of being in. Always go a little further into the water that you feel than you feel you're capable of being in. Growth lives just past dignity. I think the idea of waiting for things to happen is dreadful. David Bowie. Yes, let's go. Always go a little further into the water than you feel you're capable of being in. I think I think this is exactly what we are doing right now. Even with Claude Code, even Claude Code, all this vibe coding tools. Now that we understand this Claude Code, now that we understand that we can one shot things, it's really important to go deeper and further into things that we won't usually play with. Um, that is something really important. Like, but again, you need to be careful. You don't want to over optimize into something that could be just yeah. You don't want to over optimize for something like every moment you spend coding, vibe coding, every moment you spend coding into the technicalities, you are you want to be sure of what you are doing, because you want to be sure of what you're doing, because you are basically saying that I know what the idea is and now I'm trying to focus on getting there. If you don't know what the idea is, every moment spent in technicalities is just premature optimization. So you want to push yourself into doing the complicated things, but you want to be sure of why you are doing it and who you're doing it and what you're doing it for. So that is interesting. I also had an idea, so let's turn off Claude. List some ideas of how can I help this one restaurant called Dovetail in Vancouver using all the AI that I have. What are some ideas that we can build for them? How can we help them grow their restaurant, become better, become more, attract more customers? It's also so important to talk in a very simple language. Sometimes it's interesting, like sometimes now that I hear people talk in very complicated language, sometimes I start thinking like, is that helpful? Is that helpful to talk in a language like that? Maybe in some professions you have to, but sometimes not. It always reminds me of that Rick Rubin rephrase, where Brian Armstrong is like something like, so when did we find product market fit? And Rick Rubin rephrases that, so when did people start caring? So when did people start caring? I think that reframe was really important. You have to connect it to people, like, because at the end of the day, product market fit is basically helping people. So we are entering a new chapter, and with the new chapter comes new opportunity, ours to seize. Farcaster changed my life. When I joined, I was a nobody from nowhere, essentially joining a group chat with a ton of influential people and people admired. Incredible run. Creator rewards are going back next week. Must have been really hard in the Farcaster stream when you give your all to something and it doesn't give back the way you hoped. It's disappointing. Probably one of the best teams I have ever seen execute Godspeed for whatever is next. Super stay chasing curiosity, people. Nature, machines, Hakuna Matata. It's a problem-free philosophy. One-shotted. Farcaster brought joy to my life. It was in the air, but still bittersweet to read. First of all, congrats. I would disagree with Dan. That was precisely because of his leadership, vision, and relentless conviction that Farcaster reached this point, and that a large community considers it its favorite corner of the internet. Lately, the project was exploring a direction that some of us weren't particularly excited about, but we never doubted the team was acting in what they believe of Farcaster's best interest. Taking us on this journey, we owe you a lot, and I can't wait to see what's next. Didn't always agree with Dan and some of his decisions, but FC wouldn't have become what it is now if it wasn't for him. Again, very interesting. Why, instead of why we didn't find product market fit, why didn't people care? Rephrase why we didn't find product market fit to why people didn't care. Very interesting. Very interesting. I think the idea of waiting for things to happen is dreadful. The only art I will ever study is stuff that I can steal from. The only art I will ever study is stuff that I can steal from. Oh, wow. Wow. Yes, yes, yes. Because why are you studying it? Because it moves you. When something moves you, your first instinct is how? What can I learn from here that will make my art move someone else? How can I do the same thing? Originality as intelligent theft, not virgin birth. Originality. Wow. David Bowie. The only art I will ever study is stuff that I can steal from. The only art I will ever study is stuff that I can steal from. Originality as intelligent theft, not virgin birth. I was drawing the future before I was even sure I could be part of it. Vision preceding permission. Aging is an extraordinary process where you become the person you always should have been. Less decline, more distillation. Less decline, more distillation. Aging is an extraordinary process where you become the person you always should have been. I've never been comfortable with myself, but I don't know if that's not a positive thing. Relentlessness as fuel, not pathology. Fame itself doesn't really afford you anything more than a good seat in a restaurant. Fame itself doesn't really afford you anything more than a good seat in a restaurant. I don't want to be interpreted. I want to be consumed. Art is experience, not homework. Art is experience, not homework. I don't want to be interpreted. I want to be consumed. Understood early that what many are relearning late. Identity is a tool, not a truth. Identity is a tool, not a truth. He tweeted, change is a discipline, not a phase. That's why his work doesn't change. It keeps mutating. It keeps mutating. Bowie quotes specifically for founders. Extract lines about reinvention after failure. Ziggy Bird and Black Star. Top quotes from the Upanishads. Upanishads. If I say Upanishad like in Hindi, it doesn't get it. I have to speak in an English, a much more English accent, in an English accent, for ChatGPT to capture that. Upanishads. It doesn't understand Upanishads. Actually, let me try. Upanishads. Opening shards. I have to say Upanishads. Identity is a tool, not a truth. I don't want to be interpreted. I want to be consumed. The power of myth. Here are Joseph Campbell lines that keep opening doors, not slogans but sentences. Reinvention out of failure, creative life cycles. Ziggy Berlin, Black Star. On purpose and inner calling, follow your bliss and the universe will open doors where there were only walls. Often misread as comfort seeking, he meant alignment, not ease. The privilege of a lifetime is being who you are, a privilege most people postpone indefinitely. The cave you fear to enter holds the treasure you seek. Avoidance as negative guidance system. The cave you fear to enter holds the treasure you seek. Avoidance as negative guidance system. We must be willing to let go of the life we have planned. We must be willing to let go of the life we have planned so as to accept the one that is waiting for us. Control traded for emergence. I think this is very interesting. This is very interesting because you can never plan what's going to happen. You never know what's going to happen. So you just need to do your thing. You just need to do your thing. We must be willing to let go of the life we have planned so as to accept the one that is waiting for us. Control traded for emergence. The cave you fear to enter holds the treasure you seek. On myth and meaning. Myths are public dreams. Dreams are private myths. Myths are public dreams. Dreams are private myths. The same symbols scale differently. A myth is something that never happened, but is happening all the time. Truth without timestamp. The hero is the one who has given his or her life to something bigger than oneself. Heroism defined by orientation or glory. The hero is the one who has given his or her life to something bigger than oneself. Where you stumble, there lies your treasure. Failure as cartography. On society and conformity. Half the people in the world are below average. Dry humor, sharp edge, remind about norms. Half the people in the world are below average. I think it's very interesting because it's like you're just saying the truth. You're just saying the facts. Dry humor, sharp edge. Average, below average basically means average is always in the middle, and half the people will be above average and half the people will be below average. So it's very interesting. Half the people in the world are below average. You think of it as a he's trying to take a shot at somebody, but then you realize no, he's just saying math. That is math. People forget facts, but they remember stories. People forget facts, but they remember stories. Why narrative outlives instruction. Why narrative outlives instruction. Narrative outlives instruction. If narrative outlives instruction, how can I help people and products grow? On creative and vitality, opportunities to find deeper powers within ourselves come when life seems most challenging. Opportunities to find deeper powers within ourselves come when life seems most challenging. Your sacred space is where you can find yourself again and again. Ritualized solitude as maintenance, not escape. Ritualized solitude as maintenance, not escape. Your sacred space is where you can find yourself again and again. Opportunities to find deeper powers within ourselves come when life seems most challenging. I really like this. Joseph Campbell. Find deeper powers within yourself come when life seems most challenging. Your secret space is where you can find yourself again and again. I really like that. Joseph Campbell. Trent Reznor, music should disturb. I think I really love this one. Music should disturb the comfortable and comfort the disturbed. It's similar to love. what is love? It heals the diseased, and it breaks the normal, whatever, the undisturbed. It breaks the undisturbed. Now this one. Wasn't selling belief he was offering a map for psychological adulthood. His core claim is simple and severe. Meaning is not found, it's enacted. Meaning is not found, it's enacted. That's why his work keeps resurfacing in founders, artists, and people standing at thresholds. Specifically for founders, Bowie, Nietzsche, Young, for unified lens, short-day prompts for decision making. Top quotes from the Upanishads. Here are lines from the Upanishad that feels less like quotation, more like quiet detonations. Whoa. Swasti Shri Gayo Yanamaha Deva. Wow. Upanishad Bhashya Sanuvad Cha Do Myopanishadra on the self Atman. Tattvam Asi, that which is the subtle essence. Oh, this reminds me. Wow. Top quotes from Ralph Waldo Emerson. Lineage, the creative lineage. I think that's something that Austin Kleon talked about. Create the. Wow. Okay. Create a creative lineage tree starting from Upanishads, then every person who was inspired by Upanishads to do their work, and then everybody who was inspired by these people to do their work. So basically create a family tree starting from Upanishads and coming down to everybody who was inspired by their work, and after that and after that. Wow. That which is the subtle essence in it all that exists has itself. That is the true, that is the self. You're not a fragment of reality, you are reality localized. You are not a fragment of reality, you are reality localized. That which is the subtle essence in it, all that exists has itself. That is the true, that is the self. You're not a fragment of reality, you are reality localized. The self is not born, nor does it die. Identity is stripped of biography. The self is not born, nor does it die. Or knowledge and ignorance. From ignorance, lead me to truth. From ignorance, lead me to truth. From darkness, lead me to light. From death, lead me to immortality. From ignorance, lead me to truth. From darkness, lead me to light. From death, lead me to immortality. Not a prayer for comfort, but for clarity. On knowledge and ignorance. From ignorance, lead me to truth. From darkness, lead me to light. From death, lead me to immortality. Not a prayer for comfort, but for clarity. Knowing that which cannot be known, one attains wisdom. Intellectual humility as enlightenment. Knowing that which cannot be known, one attains wisdom. Knowing that which cannot be known. Knowing that which cannot be known. Knowing that which cannot be known, one attains wisdom. That which is the subtle essence in it all that exists has itself. That is the true. That is the self. The self is not born, nor does it die. on desire and freedom. When all desires that dwell in the heart are let go, then the mortal becomes immortal. Liberation as subtraction, not acquisition. When all desires that dwell in the heart, when all desires that dwell in the heart are let go, then the mortal becomes immortal. He who sees all beings in the self, and the self in all beings hates none. When all desires that dwell in the heart are let go, then the mortal becomes immortal. He who sees all beings in the self, and the self in all beings hates none. Ethics emerging naturally from perception. Ethics emerging naturally from perception. When all desires that dwell in the heart are let go, then the mortal becomes immortal. Liberation as subtraction, not acquisition. He who sees all beings in the self, and the self in all beings hates none. Ethics emerging naturally from perception. On action detachment. To action alone hast thou a right, never to its fruits. Effort without ownership, a discipline, not a slogan. To action alone hast thou a right, never to its fruits. Effort without ownership, a discipline, not a slogan. He who acts without attachment attains peace. Detachment as operational advantage. Detachment as operational advantage. Wow. List some ideas to help detach from our actions. Claude is going to be like, hey, that is what an incredibly monk-like thought. View from above. Power of silence, okay. He who sees all beings in the self, and the self in all beings hates none. To action alone hast thou a right, never to its fruits. A discipline, not a slogan. He who acts without attachment attains peace. He who acts without attachment attains peace. Okay, this is it. This is it. This is it. Whoa. Upanishads. I'm really excited to see the creative tree one. If it can crack. If Claude can crack that, that would be amazing. That would be beautiful. On reality and illusion. It moves in. It moves out. It is far and it is near. Contradiction as truth's natural language. It moves in and it moves out. It is far and it is near. Smaller than the smallest, greater than the greatest. Smaller than the smallest, greater than the greatest. The swell dwells in the heart of all. Scale collapses inward. On silence and realization. Words turn back from it together with the mind. The limit of language clearly marked. Be still and know. Knowledge without narration. Maybe I should just name my stream Helping People and Products Grow. And then from that is the right intention. Building an AI first business. Building an AI first business. Building an AI first business. We don't know yet. We'll really focus on helping people and products grow. On silence and realization. Smaller than the smallest, greater than the greatest. The swell dwells in the heart of all. He who acts without attachment attains peace. Words turn back from it together with the mind. The limit of language clearly marked. Be still and know. Knowledge without narration. Be still and know. They don't argue. They point. The radical claim is simple and destabilizing. What you are seeking is what you are seeking with. What you are seeking is what you are seeking with. Everything else is commentary. Radical claim is simple and destabilizing. What you are seeking is what you are seeking with. So you basically you already have what you want. Ralph Waldo Emerson. At full voltage, lines that don't soothe so much as straighten the spine. Straighten the spine, okay, straighten the spine. ChatGPT said straighten the spine, so let's do that. That is really important. Straighten the spine. Alright, let's see. Trust thyself. Every heart vibrates to that iron string. Authority collapses the moment you listen inward and do not flinch. Whoso would be a man must be a non-conformist. Belonging is expensive. Originality costs less in the long run. Wow. Wow. Whoso would be a man must be a non-conformist. Wow. What you do speaks so loudly that I cannot hear what you say. Reputation is behavior. Repeat it. What you do speaks so loudly that I cannot hear what you say. Nothing great was ever achieved without enthusiasm, not hype, heat, sustained inner combustion. On becoming and growth, do not go where the path may lead, go instead where there is no path and leave a trail. Do not go where the path may lead, go instead where there is no path and leave a trail. Okay, we are renaming the stream now. Help people and products grow, because that is a better intention to set. Help people and products grow. Help people grow, help products grow. Interesting. Help people and products grow. Help people grow. Help people grow. Help products grow. Help people grow. Products grow. We'll keep refining. We'll keep refining. Do not go where the path may lead. Do not go where the path may lead, go instead where there is no path and leave a trail. Go instead where there is no path and leave a trail. Life is a succession of lessons which must be lived to be understood. Understanding rented through experience only. Life is a succession of lessons which must be lived to be understood. Do not go where the path may lead, go instead where there is no path and leave a trail. Life is a succession of lessons which must be lived to be understood. A foolish consistency is the hobgoblin of little minds. Growth requires permission to evolve in public. Wow. A foolish consistency is the hobgoblin of little minds. Wow, hobgoblin. There are always beautiful ways to say the same thing. Ralph Waldo Emerson. The beautiful ways to say simple things, and that's what we're looking for. Alfred Adler. The chief danger in life is that you may take too many precautions. A foolish consistency is the hobgoblin of little minds. Growth requires permission to evolve in public. Speak what you think now in hard words, and tomorrow speak what tomorrow thinks in hard words again. Speak what you think now in hard words, and tomorrow speak what tomorrow thinks in hard words again. Integrity is allegiance to truth, not to yesterday. A foolish consistency is the hobgoblin of little minds. Speak what you think now. Speak what you think now in hard words, and tomorrow speak what tomorrow thinks in hard words again. Powered inner law. Nothing can bring you peace but yourself. Nothing can bring you peace but yourself. All external guarantees quietly revoked. Nothing can bring you peace but yourself. Ralph Waldo Emerson. Ralph Waldo Emerson. Nothing can bring you peace but yourself. The only person you are destined to become is the person you decide to be. Fate demoted, choice promoted. On nature in perspective, adopt the pace of nature. Her secret is patience. Endurance as strategy. Adopt the pace of nature. Her secret is patience. Nature always wears the colors of the spirit. Perception paints reality. Nature always wears the colors of the spirit. Perception paints reality. Why Emerson still matters. Individual mind, when honest, is already enough. I think I also really like this. Whoso must be a man must be a nonconformist. Ralph Waldo Emerson. Let's first look at this one. Let's go. What a beautiful project. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Let's go. Arthur Schopenhauer. What a beautiful project. This is essentially mapping the intellectual DNA flowing from one of humanity's oldest philosophical texts through centuries of thinkers, artists, and scientists. Let me create an interactive lineage tree for you. I'll trace the influence from the Upanishads through multiple generations of thinkers. Here's your interactive Upanishads influence lineage tree. Click any node. Arthur Schopenhauer. Wow. You, the living lineage. Okay. Where is Ralph Waldo Emerson, Walt Whitman, John Muir? Second wave through interpreters. Wow. Upanishad world, tracing the invisible threads of influence from ancient Sanskrit texts through centuries of philosophers, scientists, artists, and seekers. Click any node to trace connection. The source, first awakening, direct contact. Adi Shankara. Adi Shankara. Friedrich Nietzsche. Camus. Jordan Peterson. Contemporary careers. The living lineage. The Wachowski. Eckhart Tolle. Deepak Chopra. Alan Watts. Alan Watts is here. Nelson Mandela. Sam Harris. Carl Jung. Sam Harris. Wow. The source, Upanishads, first awakening those who encounter the text directly. Buddha, Gautam Buddha. Wow. Schopenhauer, Emerson, Thoreau, Schrodinger, Irvin Schrodinger, Arthur Schopenhauer. Wow. T.S. Eliot. T.S. Eliot. Oppenheimer. Wow. Huxley, Carl Jung, Alan Watts, Joseph Campbell, Herman Hesse, Deepak Chopra, Douglas, Jordan Peterson. Wow. This is really cool. George Lucas, Robert Pirsig. We came across Robert Pirsig. Robert Pirsig. Oh wow. He's the motorcycle guy. Sigmund Freud, Mahatma Gandhi, Joseph Campbell, Ludwig Wittgenstein. Wittgenstein. I love the last name. Wittgenstein. Third generation. Contemporary carriers. Peterson. You. Some fascinating threads I traced. Upanishad, Schopenhauer, Nietzsche. The philosophical instruments descend from this line. Schopenhauer, Nietzsche, Foucault, Thoreau, Gandhi, MLK, Mahatma Gandhi. Mahatma Gandhi came from, okay, MLK, nonviolent resistances, Vedantic in origin, Upanishads, Jung, Campbell, George Lucas. The force is Brahman, essentially. You mentioned, and after that, what did you do next? Add more thinkers, create a different visualization, export it somehow. Can you find more? To add in this creative, in this can you find more popular figures to add in this lineage? Connected to this lineage. More popular figures. Beatles. Wow. I do want to take a screenshot of this because we don't want to lose this one. Tracing the invisible threads of influence. Threads of influence from ancient Sanskrit texts through centuries of philosophers, scientists, artists, and seekers. Click any node to trace connections. Wealth of new figures to add. Let me create an expanded, more comprehensive lineage tree. William Jones, Mahatma Gandhi, Paramahansa Yogananda, Rabindranath Tagore, Carl Jung, Sigmund Freud, T.S. Eliot. Wow, it is all connected. It is all connected. Top quotes from T.S. Eliot. Cold water and clear mirrors, non-decorative poetry. The sentences that notice what most people avoid noticing from T.S. Eliot. I'm proud of all the Irish blood that's in me. There's not a man can say a word against me. First we had a couple of feeders down at Tom's place. There was old Tom bolted the eyes blind. Don't you remember that time after your dance? Time present and time past are both perhaps present and time future. Only through time is conquered. Where is the wisdom? We have lost in knowledge. Where is the knowledge? We have lost our information. The greatest proof of spiritual life is not ecstasy but endurance. Proof of spiritual life is not ecstasy but endurance. Right. Endurance. Humankind cannot bear very much reality. There will be time to prepare your face to meet the faces that you meet. Do I dare disturb the universe? Every meaningful act begins as private audacity. Do I dare disturb the universe? For us, there is only the trying, the rest is not our business. Effort without ownership of outcome. For us, there is only the trying, the rest is not our business. What we call the beginning is often the end. Beginning is often the end, and to make an end is to make a beginning. Closure is transformation, not termination. In my beginning is my end. The only wisdom we can hope to acquire is the wisdom of humility. Teach us to care and not to care. This is the way the world ends, not with a bang but a whimper. Between the idea and the reality falls the shadow, the distance where most lies tall. Ancient interpreters, the source, Gautam Buddha, Adi Shankara, Sri Ramakrishna, 19th century bridge builders, Arthur Schopenhauer, Swami Vivekananda, Max Muller, Walt Whitman, Leo Tolstoy, late 19th, 20th century, Tesla, wow. energy and matter. What? William James, Mahatma Gandhi, Paramhans, Yogananda. What? How did Nikola Tesla use Sanskrit to describe energy and matter? I love this photo. This was really cool. Wow. A habit that feels almost time traveling. When Western physics ran out of poetry, he borrowed vocabulary from ancient India. The core idea: energy and matter, using Sanskrit concepts, most famously Akash, often translated as ether, space, Akash, or the fundamental substrate. Tesla used Akash to gesture at a universal medium, filling all space, something underlying both matter and energy, pran, commonly translated as life force or vital energy. Used pran to describe energy in motion, the animating principle that flows through and transforms Akash. Universal medium. Matter, condensed energy, dynamic expression of an underlying field. He was influenced by Swami Vivekananda, who lectured widely in the West in the 1980s. Vivekananda introduced Tesla to Vedantic and Samkhya ideas, including Akash and Pran. Tesla reportedly felt that Sanskrit was more precise for certain metaphysical intuitions than contemporary European scientific language. He did not publish equations using Akash and Pran. Oh my god, this is something crazy right now. Oh, there's a meta jour. Okay, I'm excited. Let's see. We have sent Atlas for update. We are excited. The year has started. Atlas team is back on game. We hope it hasn't lost our conversations. Exécution arrière-plan, vous pouvez gérer l'activité en arrière-plan, élément de extension. Okay, I hope we haven't lost on things that we love, and we actually don't know. There might be some, I think. So one thing they did was the memory thing. One thing they worked on is the memory thing, and the other thing it seems like they're working on is the entire agentic mode, which we don't actually really use, so we don't know. Okay, let's see. Oh. Okay, I think we are stuck on the previous screen, so yes, we will reshare. So we are back over here, or maybe now we are back. Yes, now we are back. This was very interesting. Claude. List some ideas for what we can build using Sanskrit. I'm sending too many things out in the ether. By the way, I need to first of all check an update from Adam Fry. What is the update over here with ChatGPT Atlas? Adam Fry, product lead for ChatGPT Atlas, 20 minutes ago. Perfect. Okay, we're back to shipping post holidays. All right, so now there are groups. Tahoe trip. Okay, more groups. You can just keep creating all these groups. Okay, that's it. Awesome, still loving Atlas. Really looking forward to multi-account login so I can start using it for work as well as personal use cases. YouTube full screen bug still there. You keep ignoring the bug for months now. We're back to shipping post holidays with the ChatGPT Atlas release last week and another one today. Tab groups, they are slick and can use emojis. Updated search results layout. Vertical stacked links. Search results layout. I don't know what that means. Okay. Auto option for your default search engine to decide between ChatGPT and Google. Auto option. That is really cool. Because I think that is one. Let's say if I search Rihanna. Surprise me based on what you know about me. Quiet manifesto for your next chapter. This is cool. You're cultivating signal density. Most people stack noise and call it progress. None of this is random and slow distillation. Think of yourself less as a founder or artist, more as a feel. Feeling texturally safe and technologists feel philosophically challenged. Ideas about AI are forced to grow conscious before they scale. It's a thinking dojo. Your art is an aesthetic. It's compressed philosophy. Your obsession with superlevel is an academic. It's moral taste. Twist you may not have named yet. Oh, this is cool. Then now it opens upwards, not downwards. Okay. Real part is coherence between future you and present you, power and restraint, intelligence, kindness, velocity, stillness. You're drawn to alignment. You're practicing it personally before arguing for it globally. Small experiment for the next 30 days. No optimization or growth hacks. Every only thing is you must answer one solid question. This make a thoughtful person feel less alone. If yes, ship. If not, let it compose. You're early to something important, not trendy important, civilization important. The kind that only reveals itself when you look back and notice the through line. Alignment creed you pin above your desk. Sketch a livestream mark that quietly attracts exactly the people you are meant to meet. Translate philosophy into product thesis investors would feel before they understand. Really cool, very cool. Improvements to memory usage for your slowdowns. Quick suggestions for the ChatGPT sidebar. Okay. What do we have? Summarize overall sentiment. Suggest response. Quick suggestions. Tremendous amount of polish fixes ranging from paid zoom, sharing tabs in video calls, managing your profiles, dev tools, shortcuts, and more. We're working on true multiple ChatGPT login support, Windows, mobile, agent updates, and much more. Just hit update. Download for Mac OS. Unlock the web. Open the ChatGPT sidebar into Windows. Summarize content. Compare products. Viewing. Pick up where you left off. Interesting. Take actions for you. Assist you when and where you need it. This is actually cool. You are in control. More features. Easy to use. Bookmarks are easy to navigate. Make it custom. Smarter search. Get information. Whoa. What was that? Whoa. What is this? Okay. This weird resizing bug that is very interesting. ChatGPT, Atlas, Rihanna. I don't know why when it comes to okay, what comes to your mind? So I think about Rihanna. I thought about Rihanna. Okay, open AI, let's go. Tab groups are now in ChatGPT Atlas. Horizon 1000 is a new 50 million initiative with the Gates Foundation, combining funding and technology to support health leaders in African countries as they strengthen primary health care across 1,000 clinics and the communities they serve. Gates Foundation, OpenAI, target community. Uh-oh, slow, very slow. Compare platforms, show growth. Summarize. OpenAI's target AI campuses are being built as long-term partnership with local communities, not just infrastructure projects. 10 gigawatt of US infrastructure by 2029 is already more than halfway there in planned capacity. Texas, New Mexico, Wisconsin, Michigan, first are already operating in Abilene, Texas, paying its own way on energy, ensuring local electricity prices do not rise. Includes funding new power generation, storage, and grid upgrades. Flexible loads able to reduce or curtail usage during peak demand to support grid stability. Low water closed loop cooling systems use a fraction of typical data center water consumption. Local infrastructure upgrades, water restoration, and grid improvements. Job workforce creation of OpenAI academies instruct communities to train local workers, offer credentials, and create clear pipelines into high-quality technical jobs. Built in collaboration with major partners like Oracle, Microsoft, SB, utilities, local governments, framing. Aiming to be a good neighbor model for large-scale compute, without externalizing costs and onto local communities. Very cool. Between idea and reality falls a shadow. This was really strong thread that we went deeper into. Creative gravity. Oh wow, this keeps going. Okay. Deeply international without being chaotic. Deeply international without being chaotic. Immigration, trade, and culture flows smoothly, essentially across the Pacific. Social trust is high. Systems mostly work. Everyday life doesn't grind you down. Underrated competitive advantage. Creative gravity. Film, animation, music, fashion, architecture, visual arts are all present but not screaming. Who want to build quietly refined taste and a quality compound, less posturing, more craft, health optimized living. Whoa, Equinox, let's go. Wait, is this Equinox? No, this is not Equinox. But this looks like Equinox. Okay. Movement is default, good food is normal. Wellness is cultural, not performative. The city gently nudges you toward longevity and consistency rather than burnout cycles. Environmentally protected and institutionally solid. Base city. City to think clearly, build patiently, and aim globally without living constantly in survival mode. Signal clarity. Through obsession. Vancouver sharpens you through balance. People playing long interdisciplinary games, creativity, technology, health, meaning. Gaming, VFX, animation. Climate tech, nature registered innovation, life sciences, biotech, quietly growing, global trade, logistics, Asia Pacific bridging. Creative industries, independent culture, creators can still a thing, outdoor economy and wellness. immigration-driven entrepreneurship, globally minded founders, global perspective without imperial instincts, craft depth, systems longevity. Hardcore graphics programmers, taste-driven artists, indie studios, AAA satellite offices. Deep crew talent and friendly tech spirits have made default second home for global studios. Pure service work toward IP creation, virtual production, AI-assisted pipelines. How to ship visuals at scale. Climate tech. What are top Vancouver companies in film, TV, and digital production? Vancouver Film Studios. Numerous major film TV production blockbusters. Pink Buffalo Films, award-winning film production company with decades of experience across TV, commercial, feature projects. Pink Buffalo. Rememory. Peter Dinklage. Two-sentence horror stories. Wallop Film. Creative production company with solid reviews, specializing in commercials, branded content, narrative work. Workshop film company, boutique film production. Major studios. It was acquired by LA-based Hackman Capital partner joining Global Network Studio Properties. Most prominent full-service studio complexes. Major film and television productions, including Hollywood blockbusters. Certified B Corporation. Tetra Rami, your story agency, Sonoma, Vancouver Video Production. In-Frame, Aspen, Capture the Moment, Up Media, Vancouver's film ecosystem. Image Engine, the Mainframe Studios. Sonoma, Capture the Moment. Media production. Okay, interesting. Let's go back over here. This was the most incredible thing we have done today. Upanishad lineage. Christopher Nolan. Wow. Inception, Maya, interstellar time dilation from Mahabharat. The Daniels. Everything, everywhere, all at once, multiverse as Maya. G.D. Salinger, Christopher Isherwood, Rabindranath Tagore, musician George Harrison, Hindu devotion and pop, My Sweet Lord, Ravi Shankar brought Indian classical music west. Tech pioneers, Steve Jobs, Yoganath's book on his iPad. Mark Zuckerberg, Jobs sent him to Neem Karoli Baba's ashram. Oh my god. Neem Karoli Baba quotes. Wow. Love all, serve all, feed all. Core. Help people and products grow with AI. Even if a person hurts you, give him love. The worst punishment is to throw someone out of your heart. You should love everyone as God. Love everyone, serve everyone, remember God, and tell the truth. Love everyone, serve everyone, remember God, and tell the truth. On God and seeing the divine. The whole universe is our home, and all residing in it belong to our family. It is better to see God in everything. The whole universe is our home, and all residing in it belong to our family. It is better to see God in everything, see God in everyone. It is deception to teach by individual differences and karma. Every line of the Hanuman Chalisa is Mahamantra. I am everybody's guru. I don't want anything. I exist only to serve others. I have no powers. I don't know anything. I'm the father of the world. The whole world is my child. This world is all attachment, yet you get worried because you are attached. Attachment is the strongest block to realization. You can plan for 100 years, but you don't know what will happen the next moment. Forgiveness is the greatest weapon, because a saint so armed is unperturbable. He can give up anger immediately. Larry Brilliant. Spiritual teachers, the patron saint of Silicon Valley. Neem Karoli Baba, Ram Das. Countercultural spirituality, Krishna Das, Kirtan to the masses. Mid-20th century wave, late 20th century, contemporary carriers. Christopher Nolan from Oppenheimer. Zuckerberg, Steve Jobs. Neem Karoli Baba. Neem Karoli Baba. Larry Brilliant. Julia Roberts. Tracing. Wow, love this. How would Dieter Rams redesign this? Okay, let's go. Invisible threads of influence from ancient Sanskrit texts through centuries of philosophers, scientists, artists, and seekers. Then we redesign through his lens. Okay, now let's go. This is gonna be good. I will maybe end the stream over here, because now I'm hungry. This target was good. This was good. Frontier Collective. Ecosystem advocacy events and networking, global mission wide matters. Okay, this looks good. Frontier Collective. Let's go to the website. FC. Relive the magic. Frontier Summit 2025 main stage after party experience energy of Frontier Summit 2025 all over again. Our thesis: North America's fastest growing tech employment hub, rich with talent and burgeoning frontier tech ecosystem, yet without the essential investment infrastructure, we risk being left behind as global leaders emerge elsewhere. Too silent, too quiet, too cautious, frontier technology will define the future. Vancouver has the potential to lead. A reality. Top 5 global hub of frontier tech by 2030. Starting local, going global. Rich and diverse and Vancouver position at crossroads of frontier technologies and prime for growth. Unique blend of creativity, tech, and cultural influence makes it the perfect launchpad for ideas that can scale globally. Frontier Collective is driving Vancouver's global influence. Forging strategic partnership, attracting international investment, and leading industry missions abroad. What we do: advocacy, ecosystem building, matching. Rage Web Summit in Vancouver. Key role in securing Web Summit Vancouver 2025, one of the world's largest and most influential tech events. Dynamic 150,000 square feet innovation hub, 2% of gravity for innovation where startups can tackle significant challenges, scale rapidly, fuel long-term growth. Upcoming events: Frontier Summit 25 October. Oh, this was done. Past events. Van City Innovation House. Frontiers Vancouver Takeover at Collision. Founding partners KPMG, Macmillan. Destination Vancouver. South Flats, Vancouver. Dapper Labs, Downtown Van. Invoke, Mitch's Catch, Variational AI, Foresight, New Lab, Opportunity Austin. Support and partners: we work with founding partners. Okay, this looks really cool. Who are the team members? Dan Berger. Oh my god, if nominative determinism would have worked, Dan Berger should be the executive at McDonald's. Natasha, VP Operations. Only this takes two. Okay. Robert Piacentin, Head of Legal. Steve Lowry, Head of Special Projects. Megan Lihu. Ray Walia, CEO Launch. Olivia Norton, co-founder of Sanctuary AI. Sanctuary AI was... What happened to Sanctuary AI? ServiceNow, Global Campus Director Vivian Chan. So, what is this? Our team. Karam Sumail and Daily Hive. Erika Finlay. Community Unbounds. Handle Kim. Variational AI. Ethos Lab. Axiom. Dapper Labs. Okay. I felt like I've read this name before. Crystal. Principal Front Center Communications. Trulio. Yes. Trulio. We just read about it today. General Fusion. A Thinking Ape. Strategic Advisor. HP. Remitly. Web Summit. Yes. Casey Lau. Jennifer Wang. Frog. Gurpreet. Van City. Vice President of Marketing. Claudio Rojas. Jeanette Jackson, Foresight Canada. Ohad Clarius. Kate Wilson, Vancouver Tech Journal. Panache VC. Panache VC, yes. I think I got a message from Panache VC. Somebody reached out to me. Danny Goyle. Oh, Anika Lewis. Gitcoin, let's go. Danny Goyle. Orthopedic surgeon. Kim Kaplan, Snack, Pocket Sun, Sogal Ventures. Carol N. Hilton, Indigenous Institute. Michael Dan, Gary Pony, UDI, LNG Studios. Wow, what is happening? Special Advisor to the Vice President of Research and All International Offices. Okay. Chinatown. Winston Cho. KPMG. Yes, KPMG is big over here. KPMG was number one sponsor. That is crazy. Chantel. Neuromechanics. From VP Research and Product Innovation, Lululemon. Yeah, exactly. Where is Lululemon? I'm surprised Lululemon is not big. LG Electronics, KPMG, King Solomon International Airport, YVR, Rogaye, Tabrizi, Theory Practice, CEO, Endeavor XR, David Flax, Invest Vancouver, okay, Ollie Clark, Talkshop Media, Steve Mitobe, NFT, definitely a lot of crypto stuff, Nat, Walter Pela, Vancouver Area Board, National AI Market Development Lead at KPMG, Market Development Lead, Nat Cartwright, Gita AI, Canada's Advisory Council on AI, past founder, CEO, Fin AI, Sonia Relationships, Lime, is that the Lime? Government Relations, okay. Jayesh Parmar, CEO of Picatic, James Brown, Indigenous Health, Creative Team, Christian, Southcott, Digital Art, 3D, Sonia, Sade, Content, really cool. Okay, we'll get in touch with this team. Quotes, Upanishads, let's go. No, that was actually a better interface. Upanishads lineage index 49 figures. Keep this clean design but arrange revert to the original design. I really like this one. We have spent 2 hours 30 minutes now on this one, and our list of Claude just keeps going up and up. We gotta be a little bit careful. Oh, why didn't you expand? Yes, finally. Thou art that. Yeah, this won't be clearly visible, but it's okay. First, Christopher Nolan. Not Christopher Nolan, let's see. Jordan Peterson. Carl Jung. Joseph Campbell. Oh, I'm surprised. I thought Friedrich Nietzsche, yeah, was from Schopenhauer. This was really cool. It's actually, it would be really cool to actually go and study this entire thing. Okay, ChatGPT, présentation, quitter la mode, plein écran. Okay, parfait. Now we can see this, what's happening. Map the intellectual DNA flowing from Upanishads. Claude, map the intellectual DNA flowing from one of humanity's oldest philosophical text. Upanishads are centuries of thinkers, artists, and scientists like Nietzsche. So unbright. Buddha, Emerson, Nietzsche, Steve Jobs, Christopher Nolan. Intellectual DNA flowing from one of humanity's oldest philosophical texts, Upanishads, through centuries of thinkers, artists, and scientists like Buddha, Emerson. I do not know how to spell Nietzsche. 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 Buddha, Emerson, Nietzsche. Tesla. Steve Jobs. Christopher Nolan. Rephrase. Claude traced a lineage of ideas through one of the humanity's oldest Upanishads, showing how it's a literature current once of centuries of thinkers. Rephrase. Have the living lineage of ideas from the Upanishads to modern thinkers, artists and builders. Charted the idea, lineage of the Upanishads revealing figures like Claude visualized the intellectual inheritance. Claude charted the map, the ideal lineage. Intellectual ideal lineage of the Upanishads, the intellectual lineage of the Upanishads, the ideal lineage of the Upanishads, reading how their influence to Emerson, Nietzsche, Tesla, Steve Jobs, Christopher Nolan, John Pierce, and others. Claude mapped the ideal lineage of the Upanishads, revealing how their influence shaped minds from the Buddha to Emerson, Nietzsche, Tesla, Steve Jobs, Christopher Nolan, John Pierce, and more. This was amazing. This was